Hi, good morning, everybody. Welcome to TWR Facebook Live. So today is the question and answer from the last session. So last session was healing through awareness and precious winds, and we talked about so basically, we talk many things, and especially we talked about reflecting in our life for last 3 years, how our moods has been for last 3 years, how our pattern of thinking has been for last 3 years, and how our emotional patterns has been for last 3 years. And how these 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, our patterns of moods, thoughts, emotion has affected our well-being, our health. So this is what I have asked everybody to reflect during our meditation, and this is what I have asked everybody to also kind of engage in reflecting in the practices. So when we do that, I'm quite sure we realize a lot of things that probably we realize that, basically how unconscious you might be, how unconscious one is, how unaware one is, all these things. That's kind of shocking, right? Basically, if you think, one time I remember at the airport that all the time I have so many airport stories that I missed my flight, and I saw this older guy, maybe in his 70s, and he was so mad, and his lips were shaking, hands were trembling, and he was kind of mad at the ticket counter, and if it was their fault or something like that, was the flight was delayed. And so basically it was like I was really shocked to see his behavior. So basically I am quite sure if anybody is conscious that moment, he or what she is doing or feeling or thinking or yelling, that moment, definitely one will not do that, right? I'm sure you all agree with that. If you are conscious of that moment, you're doing that, you will not do that. So basically, our everyday moods, our everyday thoughts, our everyday emotions, how much space is there to improve, or some cases, it's not a nice thing to say, but how bad it is, so that how bad it is to, if you look at your well-being, if you look at your health, if you look at your relationship, if you look at your productivity, if you look at your success, probably it shows in every aspect of your life. It shows that it's not so good. But you kind of complain what's not happening to you. You don't think about, or you are not trying to be aware of who you are in your mood, thought, and emotions and your patterns. We don't think about that. So that's what we really talked about. So when you are conscious of that, it's really shocking. So it is kind of very shocking. So this is what we talked, and we will do another nice session of meditation later. So, but first I wanted to kind of start with some of the question and answers, questions that people have asked. There was one question from Laura Hoffer. She says that I inherited chronic illness from each of my parents. While I understand that present thoughts, mood, energy affect health, these chronic illness seems more connected to karmic winds. Your thoughts? So yes, so absolutely. Um, so these inherited chronic illnesses, something that we cannot, I guess, uh, avoid immediately or avoid directly. So something that we inherit, um, but they are definitely connected with the uh, family karmic connections. But when we talk about karma, it's not always not to look as a negative only. So sometimes there may be many positive things that you have inherited from your parents, um, and so all those are also a karmic connection. So uh, basically what I'm saying is not look at only when we talk about the karma, not only think about the negative sense, but also look at positive sense. People say, I have a good karma, a good fortune to meet my teachers, or I have a good karma to have the life what I have. So these are also connected with the karma. But at the same time, I think even something is we have inherited, that does not mean that something cannot be changed. That probably means it's very difficult to change nowadays. Many research findings that almost everything can be changed, right? So even the brain, sizes of brain, the formation of brain, cells in brain, cells in our body, like I don't know, like in over 95% of the cells in our body is changing, like basically in a way that every single day we are a new person, that everything is changing in our body, every cell is changing in our body. That means that every moment when these cells are changing in our body, um, who changes? Maybe there are deeper karmic conditions or cause conditions which are changing our cells one direction or another direction. But whenever our awareness kicks in those moments of transition or changes, our awareness either it stops, like for example, if it's a disease-causing wind is blowing, if the disease-causing karmic inherited from parents are moving or past karma is moving, those cells are moving, that means when you're aware of it, maybe it stops that moment. When you're truly a strong aware of it, a stable awareness is there, maybe it begin to reverse, or maybe it begin to delete some of those kind of negative disease-causing winds, for example. So what I'm saying here is, even something that we inherit things, I don't think not it does not mean that it's not possible to change. What it means, it's probably very difficult to change, probably almost impossible to change, but there's always a chance. And so that I think is the first question. And second question is, Hell, Christina. So she talked about basically I listen and cooking in the same time. So she's talking about does food basically does food and the space affects. What do you think about the food and the space we live in, their energy? So basically, I think food, for example, I think is really, really important. Obviously, there's no question about what do you eat, uh, what kind of quality of food you eat, how you eat, and what amount you eat. It's definitely, there are a lot of people talking a lot about this mindful eating. Yeah. So basically, just let's talk about a few simple things. There is in each one of us, there is a hungry ghost. In each one of us, there is a hungry ghost. So that very much hunger to feel complete, hunger to feel full, hunger to feel joy, happy. And when we feel hunger to be complete, we translate that into something when we cannot feel complete by being who we are, by having realization, and then we're trying to substitute that with something else, like a substance, like a food. So then we're trying to do is we say, I'm hunger, I wanted to be happy, so I wanted to eat more. I wanted to be happy, I wanted to drink more. And so basically, we have this sense of hungry ghost in us, and when you are coming from that place of hungry ghost, when you are eating with that hungry ghost, you definitely, there is no awareness. You eat so much more, you eat so fast, you eat with no awareness, no sense of joy, how you say, a sense of appreciation. So all these beautiful qualities are not there. When you are aware of your food, then there is more chances, or there is of choices that you make. You have more choices or preferences with that inner strength that you are able to make. But then even sometimes you eat something, maybe let's talk about the glass of wine, for example. For sure, if you don't drink, don't drink. But if you're drinking, then maybe if you drinking less, or drinking as a form of celebration, as a form of a practice. And when we do like a Tsok Puja or Gana Puja or something like that, you have a sip, or you have a glass. But that involves so much a sense of appreciation, celebration, gratitude, awareness, and enjoyment. There's so much, every sip is so much celebration there, so much joy there, that is very different than it is about a joke. Then I heard a joke that saying, in the bar somebody order a drink and says, do you want a red wine or white wine? And the answer was mucho. So the mucho means a lot. So, the answer mucho is hungry ghost. So some sense of like when hungry ghost is there, there is no control. There is no awareness. So I think definitely a sense of being aware of that hungry ghost, basically, or being aware of that hungry ghost and allowing hungry ghost to rest, allowing a hungry ghost to understand, and allowing awareness to arise to make a better move, decision that moment. So I think in sense that food is very important, and the space is also very important. Generally, like give one example of space will be in Tibetan tradition, regardless of how expensive, expensive or how cheap or how fancy or how simple house is, in every single household there is a room dedicated to call shrine room, because that space is the space where you go to when you need to rest, when you need to be protected, when you need to find some answers, when you need to connect with the enlightened beings, when you need to feel peace, when you need to recover, practice. There is that sacred space. Every single household, regardless of how fancy or simple house is, there is that space. And I always tell this story. One of my Western students, she's making this incredible fancy house, and she have placed her shrine room in her fancy bathroom. So when I saw that, I was totally shocked. But of course, I did not say anything. I did not want to judge or hurt. But internally, I felt like incredible, so much space there, but the shrine ended up in the bathroom. And but she said reason why she did in the bathroom was because there was a privacy. But in that big house, I think there is one can create a lot of other better private spaces. So I think it's really important to understand the sacred space in your house, to understand the sacred space within yourself. So whenever you are in home, you can always go to that place. Whenever you are traveling, you can go in that place within yourself, that sacred protected space. So I definitely feel like it's very important to understand of the space is very important. And then there's a question from Lisa Risingberry. I have a question. There are specific practices for each precious winds, lung, to balance each of them, or will the Tsalung balance all of them? Which basically means all the usual 5 Tsalung exercise will balance all of them. So it's really, really incredible amount of knowledge of so-called wind, lung. In ancient tradition, Tibetan tradition, I know also like Indian tradition, also like in the Chinese tradition, hold the notion and the knowledge about qi, all the notion and the knowledge about the prana, and all the understanding of the wind or lung in Tibetan tradition from the perspective of medical knowledge, from medical point of view, from Tibetan medicine, and from the point of view of like a tantra, like all the practices of energy, and even also the practices from the Dzogchen, the tradition of great perfection, understanding of wind. For example, and it's very, very it's very complex. So very, very complex. So 5 Tsalung are designed to activate, reconnect with like 5 elemental winds. And so these, when we talk about the 9 winds, basically it does not necessarily means 9 wind, not look at only negative or positive one way or the other way, but each time when you talk about the karmic wind, it could have a positive karmic wind, you can have a negative karmic wind. When you talk about the winds of thoughts, and conceptual mind, not necessarily means bad. So it means if you have a positive thought, positive winds are moving. If you have a negative thought, negative winds are moving. So it's not like a one or the other. I think the most important part is being aware of it. Most important part is being aware of every single day. Let's talk about one specific case here, right? So let's think about right this very moment. Right this very moment. And each one of you look at yourself. So we are like here right now, Facebook Live, about 143 people present. So, the 246 people present here. So all of you, think about it. You just, in one instant, you look back to yourself right now. Be very honest. Be very brave. And trust and look at yourself. What is your mood? If there was a glasses in front of you, how would your face will look like? Is there a space for improvement? Is there a little smile there? Is there a little joy there? A little curiosity, a little alertness, little sense of connection? What kind of thoughts you have? Are you truly present here at this moment listening to me? Or you are half listening to me and half you are thinking whatever you are thinking? If you are thinking, then question is, what kind of thoughts you have. A thought that you want to have, or thought you are forced to have. A thought is a new, or thought is the old pattern that every important moment in your life you keep on thinking those kind of thoughts. Is that your pattern? What kind of emotion you are having? Are you feeling very open, feeling some sense of trust here, or feeling some sense of connection here, feeling some sense of presence here, or you are judging the moment, or you are judging me? It's okay to judge me. That's not the point. You can judge, absolutely. No problem with judging me. It's not about me, who is object of judgment in this case. It's about you, the subject, who will always judge someone all the time, and that sense of lack of trust and connection every precious moment in your life, that's the pattern you are in. That can be aware of these things in this any given moment. Can be aware of these things. If there is a genuine sense of trust, braveness, and able to reflect and able to see, then only opportunity to change, then the only possibility to change. But if not, the change will be impossible, change will be difficult. Because change only happens when you're conscious of something, when you're aware of something. A positive change probably never happens when you are not conscious. No matter how difficult situation is, can always shift some level when there is a conscious, when there is awareness. It might not be the level of shift that you wish or you expect, but there will be always a shift in those moments, and it will be like a preparation for the next step to be a better accommodating that awareness. So this is a good example. So if you reflect this very moment in your life, then you will see what's happening or what's not happening. So that is I think it's a very important part that we few question and answer, but I think some of these question and answer will make sense back and forth. So once again, I wanted to, before we do a short session of practice here, I wanted to review for all of you, and not only during this session, I would like you to reflect throughout the day, throughout the maybe week, that how last 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, your mood, average your mood, average your pattern of thinking, average your state of emotion, and how the consequences of those, how is it affecting your overall well-being, particularly well-being of your health. A question. So that's the question. And being a little bit more honestly trying to reflect and honestly trying to be aware, and with that power of those awareness, trying to make some significant, dramatic, radical changes in your patterns for next 3 years, or maybe next 1 year, or next month, or next week, this coming week, or today or tomorrow. And this is what I would like all of you seriously think as you continuously engage with this regular basis on a Facebook Live with me. These are very, very practical advices I want everybody to engage with. Now for the practice session, what we're going to do, we will do the 9 breathing of purification. So I'm sure that most of you know one form and another form. I'm not going to go into the explaining that, and if maybe not, maybe Mariela, our chart host here, maybe can find, add the 9 breathing or purification explanation afterward. If not now, maybe afterward, then you can come back to this recorded site to look at the 9 breathing explanation, and you can do that. Maybe we might have some link too, so you can find that. And then if you wanted to keep it more simple, then you can only do like just like 5 or 7 times deep breathing. And so not only just deep breathing, but the 2 specific unique quality: when you exhale, release any discomfort and tensions that you feel, and when you inhale, you're trying to inhale vital energies, so that has a power to clear yourself in this moment. Second part of practice we will do is basically we can call that the resting of 3 doors. Resting of 3 doors. Resting your body through the stillness, resting of your speech through the silence, resting your mind through the spaciousness. We'll do that. Third, I will guide it, but I will just kind of go through these 5 points. Third will be, after you rested well, just again self-reflecting. And the self-reflecting will be that it's very important that seeing how much time that you are wasting by doing things for last 1, 2, 3 years, the way the pattern of mood, thought, emotions, negative sense, how much you are wasting time. It's important to kind of realize clearly that it's, I mean, you really realize clearly it's really like a shocking, and then there's no way not to change it. So how much you drain, how much you waste time, and how meaningless that is. And not only that, but how harmful it has been. If you look at certain conditions of your well-being, your health, how harmful that has been, probably you clearly eye-opening, you recognize, and you don't want it to become more harmful than it is already. So that's number 3. And the number 4, it's a very important one, is that what I would call here is the ultimate and conventional compassion. So it's a compassion to yourself, self-compassion. So in this practice, what we will do is just basically trying to ultimate compassion in a sense. We will try to simply be aware and presence with that mood, with that thought, with that emotion, with that pain, whatever this experience that you are frequently having. Just being present, not elaborating, judging, changing anything. That is more like it's also a compassion. It's also, but it's a non-conventional compassion, because it's like not like emotionally creating anything. So there will be a choice one. If that is a little difficult to do, or you feel you prefer to do more like a conventional sense of compassion, the conventional sense of compassion is where like really like if somebody in the street, there is an accident and somebody have cut their arm because of accident, when you see that bloods and images like that, what do you immediately feel? You feel immediately sense of, may this person be free from the suffering, how I can help. And then maybe if you are able to, maybe you're holding that person, like giving this really sense of deep, caring attention, connecting attention with kindness and warmth. So that kind of warmth giving towards somebody, but this is that kind of warmth and caring giving toward yourself, like a self-compassion. So ultimate sense of compassion by being present with those experiences, or being more caring, loving, emotional sense of compassion to your pain or your challenge or your thought, or who is feeling helpless in this moment. So that will be number 4. And the last one will be dedication. Dedication is something that you, whatever I accumulate merit out of these practices, may these merit become cause for a self-transformation or self-realization of all the sentient beings, and particularly those who you know this moment in your life who need those prayers, bringing those people in your meditation and prayer, or those loved ones and friends and people you know. So that is the main thing what we will try to do here. Okay, so just for a moment be ready. So 5 deep breathing, part 1, and or 9 breathings. As a result of the 9 breathing or purifications or your deep healing breathings, feel more clearing, more opening. And also feel this sense of connected to the sacred Cyber Sangha all around the world. Expand that sense of space from your body, from your room, to out as far as you can, infinite space, to all the Sangha members. Feel connected, feel supporting each other, send support, receive support. Second part of the practice, the resting through 3 doors. Bring your full attention to your body. Be aware of that stillness in your body. Be aware of the silence around within you. Be aware of the spaciousness, sense of openness around and within you. And continuously breathe deep, continuously feel connected and being supported. Rest deeper in that stillness, rest deeper in that silence, rest deeper into that spaciousness. By during every deep exhalation, rest deeper, deeper, connect deeper. Now for a moment, part 4, for a moment. So the part 3, just reflect for a moment that last 3 year or 2 year or last 1 year or for last couple of months, your mood, with your thoughts, your emotions, all the efforts, how much it's draining you, how much a waste of time it is, how meaningless those are, how unconscious you have been. Here is to be aware, but not judge. Recognition, realization. And willingness, feeling the strength and power to change. Not only how wasted your time, but also, most importantly, how harmful it can be, or it has been, or you are experiencing it. Recognize a deep, true recognition. Harmful. Not able to function well, not able to have lack of productivity, creativity. Affecting your well-being, affecting your health, and particularly if your health is not good, it's really harmful to think that way. Recognize, be conscious, be aware. And says some sense, be aware that you truly wanting to change that. I truly wanted to change that. Please give me the strength, give me the power, give me the confidence, give me support. All the enlightened beings, whatever, whoever, wherever your sources of trust is, feel that trust. Feel the trust in the sacred Cyber Sangha. We are all here connected to each other. Send that sense of good vibration to others. Feel that sense of good vibration from others as support. Part 4. So whatever that wind is, or that pain, challenge, hopelessness, helplessness, whatever you are feeling, particularly those who are feeling like a little bit like a lack of power, lack of energy to feel the strength to change. Have compassion to yourself, a self-compassion. First, trying to be present with that feeling without judging. Second, trying to give spacious, luminous, warm hug to yourself. To that self who is feeling weak, who is feeling pain, who is feeling not strong enough to make fast changes or the changes that you wish you want. Have compassion to that. So for a moment, spacious, luminous, warm hug, kind hug, caring hug to yourself. Just continue that in that presence of luminous hug to yourself, self-compassion. Now, just for a moment, imagine this sense of self-compassion in that resting through the three doors. If this was your average mood, if this was your way of pattern of thinking, if this was a way of your feeling or way of your being, imagine incredible change. It will change a lot of things in your life. Okay, so the last thing, the point 5, is dedication. So just basically, you're welcome to, give me your feedback, specifically these 5 points of meditation, what we just did. Give me feedback, how you're feeling, how you are experiencing with your reflecting your last couple of years, what you realize, and how clearly you recognize that waste of time, energy, meaningless, but not only harmful, or it has been harmful for you, or do you recognize how is your experience, how clearly you feel confidence that need and wanted to change, truly strong sense of need and wanting to change, how clearly that is, how strong that is. And of course a beautiful, spacious, luminous, warm hug. It's a beautiful metaphor, beautiful experience. And how do you feel that sense of experience of that? And then finally, of course, the dedication is very important. So we have dedication. So give me some feedback here, how you experience here. So how was it? So somebody says, I know exactly what I wanted to change. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. That's exactly I want you to know. Thank you. Martha, thank you. Sherry Davis. So thank you for all your wonderful feedback, and your experiences. So we will, I hope that you continuously apply these 5 points, 5 practices, and particularly there are a number of specific things to clearly realize. I think there's important things that realize through deep reflection, so that's very important. So I wanted to conclude today. So the next one, next TWR Facebook Live, we will do next Tuesday from Dharamsala, India. I am today here in California, so it's a long trip, long traveling, but I'm even not exactly sure what the times, the differences are, but as I committed, I will be with all of you regardless of the time, unless the internet connections are not good. That will be more challenging, but I will be there with all of you. And so thank you very much. Bye.